I've experienced loss in a couple of ways in my life. Um, Experienced the loss of my father, who committed suicide when I was 17. Um, I've experienced the loss of sort of my family, in that I got the heck out of the little valley town, interior valley town that I lived in, not too many years after that, just because I was feeling really hemmed in by them, and sort of betrayed by them. Um, well, I guess it's mostly my mother, really. I can't really lay it on a brother or sister, other than that they were kind of clinging on to the same kind of, I felt the same kind of structure, family structure, um, that was enforcing kind of a thing of silence. At the very least, it was a group of people that none of us could talk about what had happened, that my father had killed himself. But that's actually not what I want to talk about, because I was thinking about, with Little Big, and there's a couple of people in that novel that experience loss. There's, I think about one thing of Oberon, a little growling dog, Oberon, who experiences the loss of her father. No, he doesn't experience the loss of his father. He experiences the loss of his wife, Sylvie. And, one moment she's there, then another moment she is gone. And it's really it shakes him to his core. And funnily enough, the experience that I have in my life, that like, oh, I feel like I can relate to it, is that when I was probably, God, I don't know, it's probably after my father's suicide, but before I actually left town, when I was kind of going through the motions of there was just that weird summer, because he killed himself shortly after I graduated, and there was that weird summer between then and college, and then just enrolling in college, probably in just kind of a state of shock, um, and completely failing college. But where a friend of mine, Peter, kind of a really intellectual guy who, I guess like all teenagers, one degree or another, is fairly self-involved. It's kind of involved in that way that you are when you're a smart, intelligent guy. Um, I think that only a smart, kind of someone who's particularly smart can be so self-involved. Just took off one day. He left and didn't tell anybody, and just left. And I don't know what was going on in his life. His father called me, because I was theoretically like his best friend, and like, had you heard anything? Did you hear anything about this? Like, did you know? Do you know where he's gone? Like, is he dead in a ditch? And I didn't. And there was something about him vanishing, that at the time, maybe just because it was that much easier to kind of hold on to versus my father shooting himself, which was such just completely shattering, in a whole different level, that him leaving, him suddenly vanishing, dropping off the edge of the earth, that was the thing that just really shook me. I remember laying in the bathtub, feeling incredibly hollow, like all the water letting out. Like, I love having long hot baths, and just letting all the hot water run out, and lying in that bathtub and feeling like nothing is permanent, nothing is going to is can be depended on. I don't think I really at the time, even up until now, maybe connected that that was a double effect, double echo there of my father's suicide and then him vanishing. Now, unlike my father, who stayed dead, he did show up again. He had taken off to Banff and had gotten a job as a kind of some kind of a waiter or busboy at the hotel, and was fine, and was just kind of an asshole that way. That may have kind of, I mean, you know, I don't know how long. I don't have friendships with, I think, anybody. I don't from anybody from Kelowna, any of my friends, any of those old friends. I have no contact with any of them anymore. Um, I did see him once afterwards, but it's like I felt a lot more detached from him by that point. Probably because, again, kind of a sense of betrayal. If I felt a sense of betrayal from my father, anger about my father's killing himself, and then my family refusing to talk about it, and that bottling up almost killing me, I also didn't appreciate him, Peter, just taking off and not telling anybody, and just how much that shook me. And you know, he has his own reasons and own stuff to do that with. It's just really fucking inconsiderate. I'm sure his parents wanted to fucking kill him. But yeah, so yeah, it's interesting what things echo through, because that echoes through from my from reading Little Big, of Oberon going, Sylvie was gone, and like everything was gone, all of her possessions were gone. It was like she never existed. It's like I know that feeling. It's like my father never existed. Like for a moment there, Peter, that friend, never existed, and that how that much that shook me, in how stable, how unsafe I felt in the universe. And now I will close off this little bubble of my into my universe, this little window, shut the window into my universe, and go up and try and pretend that my life does exist, that the people around me who I love won't poof out one day, that this island won't be covered with water, that we all won't just get consumed by the sun. All those things that just the total vortex perspective might show us, if we're not careful. And sometimes maybe we need to be shown that just to keep it in perspective. Gugh, total perspective. But sometimes a total perspective just isn't helpful, I have to say. Good night.